Hey guys, Achi here, back once more with another SDR Devlog video. I know it's been a while since the last episode, but I needed to take some time to figure out how I wanted to make this new system of mine, where it basically handles all the different animations for the different actions that you can use. So stuff like attacking, casting a spell, using an item, that kind of stuff. And I think I got a pretty good system right now, where it's not too hard to add new actions later, but we'll find out, I guess. But besides that, I've also made some more, I guess, noticeable changes, like the new attacks and some quote-unquote cinematic effects. So let's get into that. As for the attacks, you can already see them on the screen. I've added a bite, slash, and thunder attack. So that's pretty cool, I guess. The thunder spell took me a little while to get done. I say a little while, but it basically took me a full day to, of course, draw it and then actually try to code it in. Because getting the timing correctly in Sprite is pretty easy, but then I had to think of something to make it actually work in the engine itself. So that took a little while, but I think it looks pretty good. It's not perfect. I want to add some other things like making the screen darker and maybe some, like, I don't know, smoke particles. But for now, it will do. It's fine, I think. Besides the attacks, I've also added some cinematic effects, like the black bars that you can see at the top and the bottom of the screen when you cast a powerful attack, or the camera panning around, which used to be only a thing that happens during the battle transition, but now it also happens during the battle itself, which I think makes the action look a lot more interesting. There's also a new screen shake effect, which kind of waves the screen up and down, which is less jarring than the old effect. I still use the old effect, of course, but the new effect is more, I think it's a bit more useful for these bigger attacks where I want to shake the screen around a lot, but don't really want to cause a headache, so to speak, because it doesn't go apeshit. I'll still add an option to just disable screen shake because some people just don't want that, and that's fair. But yeah, new screen shake effect, and I think it looks good. There's also this little box that shows the name of the attack or the spell or whatever, which I think looks pretty neat. The color of the text is dependent on the element of the action, so the thunder spell has a yellow name because it's electric based, and then if something were to be like fire based, it would have a red name. That's the idea behind it. I think that's it for the battle system. I also added some smaller changes, like the way the boxes in the interface now slide away instead of disappearing instantly, that kind of stuff. It's pretty subtle, but I think it just makes it look a bit more polished. Next, I added a new pause menu, which you can access via the Overworld. On the left, you can see a brief overview of your party, where you can just see your health, mana, EXP, and status elements, that kind of stuff. I think that's just the right amount of information that I want to be visible from the get-go. And then when you press the inventory button in the center, you can see a more detailed look, so like all the different stats of your character, your skills, and of course the items that they're carrying. So that's what I got for the pause screen right now. I want to expand on it a bit more later, but for now the goal is to just make it look decent and also have a way to actually enter the inventory, which is what I want to work on next. There you go. So yeah, pause screen is not done, but I'll reiterate on it later. What I want to work on today, as I mentioned, is the inventory screen. So yeah, let's get started on that. Alright, I'm back. I've made some more progress on the inventory mockup. Of course, I already had a version that I've made 2 episodes ago, but I just kind of reiterated on that. And I like what I've got going on right now. I've posted it in Discord, and then someone was like that. Someone mentioned that it was kind of cluttered, which I can see. I've made some changes since that, and it's not that different since that design. I'll post an image on the screen. It's pretty similar, but yeah, I think this will work, hopefully. And if not, I can always iterate on it later. It just helps to get the design done before I actually start implementing it, because of course changing stuff in the code is harder than just moving stuff around on in Paint.net. So this is what I got for now, and I don't think I can make the whole thing. That's a weird sentence. I don't think I can implement the full thing today. It's 7 p.m. right now, so it's not super late, but it's getting there. But we'll see. Future self take over. Whoosh. Before future self takes over, I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on what you're seeing on the inventory screen, because I feel like I don't really do that enough. So let's do that. I just wanna talk about the decisions that I've made when making this kind of stuff. So yeah, all right. So on the left, you can see 8 stats, and I'll go from the top to bottom. We have life, mana, attack, defense, wisdom or intellect or whatever you want to call it, which affects your magic damage. And then you have resistance, which is basically magic defense. And then you have your speed, how often you can act in battle. And last we have luck, which affects stuff like, I guess, item drops and crits and dodges and all that kind of stuff. Maybe even affects some skills as well. So that's the idea. We just have 8 stats, which kind of just work how you would expect it, to be honest. And then in the middle we have the little information box with the blade of plot convenience. And under the name you can see basically what kind of item it is. So it is a sword, it has melee range, and it deals physical damage. So the idea is that each weapon will either be melee or ranged. And then on the right you can see the type of damage that it does. So in this case physical. You also have fire damage, electric damage, ice damage, and then light and dark damage. At least that's what I've got on paper right now. We'll see if it changes. And then the idea is to kind of make each weapon a sort of stat stick, I guess. So well, this is just another idea I kind of got from Fire Emblem. It's not the first time, but I guess in this case a sword would just give you a higher attack stat, and then probably give you a penalty to speed or something. I'm not sure yet. I could also just literally give it a weight stat. That would kind of have the same effect, but I'll have to think about that. So it gives you an attack bonus and then weighs you down, which then lowers your speed, which means you can't act as often. So the idea is that, I don't know, you could have a very lightweight weapon with less damage, or a very heavy weapon, which then does way more damage. But the interesting part comes in the effect. So the idea is that besides stats, some items would also have special effects. So in this case, the weapon would give you an extra move for the turn if you've killed an enemy with it. And, well, you can just have all kinds of effects for different items, I guess. So yeah, I kind of drew inspiration from Hearthstone, I guess, where you try to have simple text on, well, in that case the card, but in my case the item, to have simple texts, but can have synergy with other kinds of things. I don't know. It sounded better in my head than when I actually said it out loud. But that's the idea. We have some attributes on the weapon, like the range and the damage type, some stats, and then a effect that triggers whenever something happens. And then on the right, we have your actual inventory space. So the idea is that every party member has 16 slots. It was originally 20, but I made it a bit smaller because I thought that would make the inventory management a bit more interesting. I have no idea, because there's no actual game right now. It's just a tech demo, honestly. But I think having 12 backpack slots and then 4 slots for the equipment should be okay. We'll figure it out. We'll notice later. And then of course you have your skills. Not really sure how you will go about unlocking skills yet. Maybe it's going to be through level up. Maybe it's going to be through consumables. I have to think about that. Yeah, that's really the important stuff that I wanted to talk about. At the top you can see other information like your name, your class, and your status ailment. And on the right, at the top right, you can see well, your main stats during battle, so your HP and mana, and EXP of course. So yeah, that's what I got for now. If you have any suggestions, of course, leave them in the comments. Maybe you got an amazing idea which I'm just forgetting right now or not even noticing, and maybe it would make all of this a lot better. I don't know. All right, another awkward cut. I've actually decided to kind of save the inventory stuff for the next episode. I'll try to work on it this evening, but considering the video is already over 11 minutes long by this point, I decided that it's probably better to just save the rest for the next episode. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time.